Good morning, you guys. I'm here to give you a review on Ready to Love. Basically, we're to the point where we're presented again with the people actually having a. In other words, I like to spin on it. Basically, where they had a blind dates. Cornelius is to the point where he actually went on a date with actually Ace. They actually had a great meeting. It was pretty eye opening for me to realize that Tiara was to the point where she actually was taken up for Joel. Joel was to the point he is the underdog. He's the person that everybody's to the point they're tired of because at the end of the day he actually does a, as they call it, a interview instead of an actual, in other words, a date. Sabrina and him go on an actual date as well. And he asked Sabrina the burning question: does she consider him a love interest? She said no. She had to admit that she don't have any type of feelings for him, and she's to the point where she doesn't realize that she's not attracted to him in that way. He basically looks like he's a little disappointed, but I like the way that she let him down easy. Joy to the point where she actually gets her date with Clifton. They had a great time. Like she said, she didn't really want to sit down. She wanted to hug. So he picked her up and gave her a big hug, and she was very, very overjoyed about it. You can tell that Joy is very infatuated with Clifton because you can tell she spends most of her time on him, and that's all she basically talks about. I don't know if it's one of those things where it's going to hurt her as far as this competition is concerned because you actually have to get to know everybody in this actual scenario. Not saying she's closed off and she's not willing to be with anybody else, but you can tell who she really has her sights on. They actually have a dinner. She has fish. She lets him know that she has a whole fish, and he's to the point where she basically offers to feed him. He stands over her and leans in, and actually, once he actually eats the food, he has this look on his face, and he looks really, really disturbed. Come to find out, he had coconut in there. He said he's allergic to coconut, and she was like, "Oh my God, Clifton, don't leave me." She said, "I finally got you. I don't want you to leave me." I thought it was kind of cute, but at the end of the day, it realized that it was okay what he actually ate, so he was fine. But we did not know that he was actually allergic to coconut. So we're to the point they actually proceeded in the date. She was to the point where she actually opened up to Clifton, which she's done in the past. She tells him about the way her actual father passed, and Clifton shares with her that he actually had his dad to pass as well. He was to the point he said he did not open up, he did not become emotional until maybe like a year later. And like she said, yeah, first she wasn't able to really grasp it at first, but it finally came down on her like a ton of bricks, and she basically broke down. And you could tell she still was a little emotional about it while they were taping because she got quiet and she became a little teary eyed about it. Like she said, her dad did raise her. She was a daddy's girl, and most importantly, her mom was from Trinidad. So basically, she got custody of was in other words, he got custody of her and raised her. She didn't go into specifics of why, but Joy is actually, if you're not familiar, she's the one who actually is a professional singer. But you can tell that she's really infatuated with Clifton. He feels the same about her. They have a new lady on. She actually to the point where she is actually speaking with Wiley. She lets Wiley know that she likes his conversation. She's glad that he's engaging with her, but she's really to the point where she's actually a college professor in biology, and she lets him know that he reminds her of her students, which is not a good thing. Like she's trying to say he in her mind he gives her young vibes, which he is a young because he is 32 and she's like in her 40s. So I can kind of relate on what she's saying because I'm around the same age as her. So it's one of the things where you kind of want somebody more close to your age. Not saying he's immature or anything because Wiley is not immature. That's not what we're going with it. Now Laverne is still like they saying he's a Casanova of the season. He's letting the women know he's here, he's ready, he's ready to mingle. A lot of women are to the point they're still infatuated with Demetrius. I can understand what it is. He's dapper with it, his dress, his talk, it's just a complete package. Now, what I was surprised about is that a lot of ladies to the point they're not really feeling Cornelius. Now, if you're not familiar with Cornelius, he came in as a blind date himself, and he went on a blind date with Ace. Now, him and Ace basically hit it off. So I don't understand what's going on with that. I thought maybe Ace and him would have a connection, but I don't think it's one of the things where I don't think Ace has really picked anyone particular that she's really, really getting close to. I think she's basically throwing in other words, throwing her reel out, trying to figure out who she gonna reel in. In other words, she's basically dating around, which is not a bad thing when it comes to this type of competition. You gotta be able to see who's who and check them all out and fill them out because they're bringing them in steady. So it's not one of those things where it's just a matter of you got to deal with who's there. I kind of like the aspect this season that they're actually bringing in the actual blind dates, and it's basically like putting a spin on it that everybody there can't get too comfortable because you never know when you're gonna leave. But I was to the point where I actually enjoyed this actual episode because the women are to the point where they are being courted more by the gentleman, which is a great thing. I love that scenery that Joy and Clifton had. Basically, at the actual, as I say, the women's lounge where they actually made a decision about who was about to be eliminated. He Tommy asked Joy basically what is how her date went, and she explains to him that she basically he almost killed her date. He was like, "What went on?" So she basically explained to him about the coconut situation. So he asked her, "Did she want to do a do-over date?" She said yes. I kind of saw that coming. She would love to be get any chance to be with him. So we're to the point where everybody is, mingling around. Because like I told you, Sabrina and actually the Jeff guy, his actual date with her didn't go well. So they were to the point where when they actually went and deliberated about who was about to leave was between him and Cornelius. I'm not gonna tell you till I've done my review who actually gets to leave. But this particular season, I see that in my mind, I see that Wiley's trying to step up for some apparent reason. He's very quiet for a minute, and he's to the point now he's trying to step his game up. I guess he feel like, hey, it's one of those things where you can't sit around and be comfortable. You have to basically shoot your shot. And like I said, he shot his shot at the professor, but I don't want those things where I don't think she's attracted to him like that. She don't really with her being new and first coming in, I don't really know who she really is attracted to. She hasn't really made that known. But I think it's one of those things where, like I told you, Laverne and the new girl, not the new girl, the older girl, Jessica, they call her Lady in Red. I think they actually have a connection. I think that Sabrina really wants to be with Demetrius, but she hadn't really made an effort to actually ask for a date or go towards a date. They haven't put him on a date. I'll be interested to see what they do when they put Sabrina and Demetrius in the room together because they did put her up there with Jeff, and you obviously can see her and Jeff are not a match. So it's one of those things where it was cool, but like I said, a lot of times I keep saying to myself they keep holding Jeff in there for ratings. And the reason why I said ratings because a lot of people don't really like Jeff and the things that he's doing, but it makes for good TV. It's one of those things where it's one of those Corey situations where Corey 2 seasons ago everybody kept wanting him to leave. They never got him off. Now I kind of understand the strategy. But we'll see where he goes with that particular attitude. But last season he was able to last episode he was able to tell the lady at that particular time that she was not ready to love, and it really tickled me when he was about to go in for a hug. She said no. So I was like, she is mad with him. But she told him at that particular thing that she didn't like the fact that he asked a lot of questions, which he does. I mean, when he's on an actual day, it's more like an interview. My thing is you got to let your guard down and be able to mingle and just let it vibe. I don't think his strategy is gonna work for long because the women are gonna get tired of it. Eventually, they're gonna boot him off. That's just my opinion. But like I told y'all, Demetrius is the man of the hour. A lot of people are to the point they like Clifton too, but they gotta understand they know Joy is the one that is the apple of his eye. But I enjoyed this particular episode. They were able to see the new people come in and mesh well with everybody. So it's one of those things where I think it's going to be great for everybody. I'm waiting to see this season. I like it when it gets to the point where they actually are coupled down. Everybody has solidified who they want to be with. That's my favorite part of it. But I'm gonna wait and see who's here at the end because the people just like they're saying they dropping like flies. They coming in the door. Next day you don't see them. I think Laverne basically feel like he got this thing in the bag, so he just gonna keep doing what he do and be the latest man. I think actually it's gonna work out for him doing that particular strategy because he's not too aggressive with it. The women basically flock to him, so it ain't like he basically forcing them or one of those things where he's doing too much. Now Demetrius don't have to do a whole lot. The women are interested in him, period. But it is what it is on this particular season. I like the fact that Tommy is able to come in and vibe with the people, and he keeps throwing the monkey wrenches in there. A lot of times they're not ready, but it is what it is. I think the blind date scenario is a great aspect. That this is the first time they're doing this. Normally they have everybody on at one time. So this basically I think brings a good element of surprise and keep people on their toes. Me personally, I hope that Joy and Walter can keep that. Not Walter. Joy and Clifton can keep that actual spark, and that it actually fizzles into something, and it basically lasts. Because I basically like them together as a couple. You can tell that they actually survive. It's not forced. It's actually genuine. And not to mention, they actually look good together. So I'm gonna stick around and see what this season is giving. I'm hoping they'll move on and everybody's to the point where like me, I like the reunion because I like to see who actually stayed together, who actually broke up. That's when you learn all the tea. But I'll keep you guys posted on everything, and I hope you guys are enjoying the review. I will keep bringing you the reviews, and I hope you guys that are actually new here will subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.